Welcome to the Spearo Hangout, where we talk all things spearfishing, freediving and foraging. We're three guys from Devon in the UK who are excited to share some of the learnings from our spearfishing journey with you over the coming episodes. We bring in some special guests along the way to help spread some in-depth Spearo knowledge from some of the most experienced people in the scene. All right, lads.
Hey, how we doing?
Evening.
How's it all going?
Fucking cold.
Yeah, it's freezing in here.
Let's not try to bore the shit out of all the listeners tonight, Anthony.
Yeah, no CNC talk. Thank you very much.
Well, no, we got Adam Savage on tonight to talk about CNC and CAD design. Yeah, we're going to stop spearfishing.
No, we bloody are not.
No,
we've got Aksel Orstavik on tonight.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be epic.
He seems like a really nice guy as well, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
I love his videos as well. I think I might have mentioned it once or twice before, but
only once or twice, mate.
I'm looking forward.
People must think I spent my whole day on YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's me and you got out the weekend as well. We managed to get in for a dive, didn't we? So
yeah, it was only scallops, wasn't it? There wasn't any fish around.
Oh, I didn't see
and
any
it was
fish.
bloody cold.
Looking at the photo, did you get that many?
Oh, I had a bag full.
Did you?
Yeah, it was pretty reasonable. I think it was
nice,
like 20 or so.
Yeah, I think there
was more there, but
so.
like, there's a point at which you think, well, I probably ought to leave some for somebody else. I mean, I don't know if you ever feel the same way, but
No, I got up to the license limit, and that's it for Devon. But
yeah.
the only reason I was saying it is that a couple of the photos, they looked slightly different to the ones that we get in Devon, in that they were green around the edges, like
green and black. Yeah,
yeah.
No,
but they taste the same.
Yeah, it's just the location, but it's fine.
I mean, again, I don't want to know the location, but is that because there's more fresh water there, or why were they green around the edges? Why would there be more algae there?
It's just different terrain, isn't it? So it's more silty, muddy, and everything else.
Okay.
But yeah, they're perfectly fine to eat.
Gotcha.
I just ate the meat anyway. I didn't eat the rest of the roe and everything else. But yeah, it was lovely. It was really nice to get out again. To be fair, it was bloody freezing. I think I only lasted about an hour and a half, and then I said to Ben, "I said I'm getting in because I could actually. I'm still pissed off actually at Ben's remarks. Actually,
what did I say?
Well, I remember coming up to you and saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to head back in because it's quite cold." And then we had a conversation about how cold it was, and you were like, "Well, to be fair, whales don't seem to need a wetsuit."
That wasn't quite how it went. It was a bit hard.
Whales don't need a wetsuit or something like that. I was like, "Look, I'll put on a couple pounds." But
no, you were saying, you've only got a 5 mil on, and I was saying, well, you probably got an extra couple of mil than I have around the rest of you. Yeah.
When you get out of the sea, Rich, do people start throwing buckets of water over you trying to push you back in? By the way,
it's only happened once or twice. Mate.
Richard's not really fat. He's just big bone covered in meat and gravy. But
sorry, mate. I didn't realise it actually offended you. I know. It's not like me, is it?
No, it's all good.
But going back to those scallops we were saying a second ago, when you didn't eat the rest of, like, you just ate the abductor mussel. I was watching some videos of some Japanese over in Japanese. I didn't say the other one. On YouTube, and other than the effectively like the stomach or the poo sac, that black sac, they eat everything else, and supposedly the eyes are really good.
Yeah, I was going to say I watched on Instagram. There's that. Is it Chef Hero or something like that?
Yeah, Hiro Tadada.
Yeah. I was watching that, and he cooked like the eyes, or would you call it eyes?
They're eyes, but
the filtery bit.
The frill, they're the light.
Frill, that's right. Yeah. And they cooked it up, and it looked like really nice, like proper crispy, looked properly delicious. Doing like flour and egg, like you would have,
Yeah, and the amount that I feel that I sort of like chuck back in, or use as bait or whatever for fishing, the weight of it that goes when you're just using the abductor mussel. I'm definitely going to try it next time. I don't know if I try it raw, like the abductor mussel, but yeah.
Oh no, I've eaten the mussel raw before, but only from like a super clean environment, and it's lovely.
Didn't I get you to eat your first one on the boat with me?
Do you know what? I don't think I've had a scallop raw actually.
I thought you had. I thought you tried it with me.
I mean, it's the kind of thing I would do just because whatever.
Yeah. No,
But
they're
I don't
so
think it's
nice.
so. I wouldn't choose to eat it raw. I don't think.
Once you've tried one, you will.
Okay.
And like every time you dive, you'll be like, oh, I'll have a couple of these on the way back in because
Really?
they're just
Isn't it just
they've
a bit
got
more like
such a sweeter
slimy?
taste.
Like
No, not at all.
okay.
Not slimy at all. And they haven't got the same taste as when you fry them. They're a really sweet, different taste, but they're so addictive. Wouldn't you say that, Rich?
Yeah, I definitely think they're real sweet when you eat them raw. But again, like you gotta be careful where you get them from if you're gonna do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
not Tesco's.
yeah, don't get the fake scallops. But yeah, no, it's awesome to get back out again, man. Like
It was lovely.
literally,
And the fish was all right as well, wasn't it? I reckon we probably had
Yeah.
like 4 meters or so in places.
yeah, in places. Yeah, I mean, it's
What
just
was
so
the sea
nice
temperature?
to. Oh, it's
Yes.
cold.
I think what one watch said 6 degrees. Mine
I
said
think we had
7.7. Yeah.
I think we had 6, 7, and 8, so we just
Yeah.
kind of went with 7, really. So
Well, I think Axel that we're getting on in a minute is he's gonna be like, oh, that's very warm for you guys. He's diving like fucking -7.
I don't know about you, Ben, but I felt so much more relaxed this week as well after diving.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. Yeah, it was
Rachel's having a go at me at the moment.
Feeling. Why? Because you're all het up.
Yeah, because I haven't been out. I was going to get the boat out today, but work is just so busy.
Oh, mate.
But never mind. And on another note, I think I'm going to try and get a smooth skin top.
Yep.
I just need to
Keep yourself
maybe the
warm.
listeners can give some well, not necessarily advice, but some recommendations for a smooth skin. I've seen Start Point have got a smooth skin. But I know that Davo had a Pathos, and he bought that at the beginning of last season, and it's already like ruined. Like, not that he's ruined it himself; it's just falling apart.
Oh, really?
If anybody knows of any good smooth skins for a big lad, then yeah, let me know.
Well, should we get Axel on and find out what the crack is on in Norway?
Yeah, let's do it. Looking forward to this.
Sweet, man.
Hey, Axel, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
Welcome on the show.
Hey,
Thank you.
finally.
Yeah, been waiting many weeks now.
We've spoken about you a few times.
Especially Ben.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a fan.
Oh, that's nice.
Being all my heroes on this podcast. Yeah, man, I've been absolutely loving your videos on YouTube. I think it's incredible. Some of the well, not just the things you're seeing, but also the way you're filming it. So yeah, great work. Absolutely
Thanks.
loving it. For those of the listeners that don't know who you are, do you want to give yourself a little introduction? Who are you, where you're from, and what you're all about?
Yeah, so I'm 22 years old. I live in Norway. I'm from Stavanger, so it's on the southwestern coast. Grew up there. Currently living in Trondheim, which is a bit further north. Studying here, power engineering, and diving as much as they possibly can.
Sweet.
So,
How often is that, Axel? How often are you diving?
Oh, this winter I've been getting out every week, which is really nice. But it depends on university and stuff. When it picks up during the exams, it's sadly a bit less.
Yeah, right. And the viz is so good that you can go out whenever you want to, unlike here.
Yeah, well, in I'd say March, April, it's dropping quite a bit, but it's still, you said, hey, you had 4 meters of visibility now during winter. Yeah, I'd say the worst we get is around 3 meters in the worst algae bloom in spring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
we've plenty of days with less than a meter where you can't see much. It's not worth getting
Struggle
in.
to see your hands.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Like in Trondheim is in the end of a fjord, and in here the water is really dirty. So I've just given up diving here altogether.
Yeah. Is that the
then
runoff from the land? Is it the fresh water?
Yeah. Lots of rivers and stuff, and also farmlands. So it's just brown and dirty and dark, and
And do you find you
good.
get that differential layer, sort of that fresh water on the top, that makes it brown, and then you can dive underneath it and it clears up a bit? Or
Yeah, you can, but it really depends how deep that layer is where it clears up, and also it's brown all the way down. So
Nice.
it's just not that pleasant to dive here, unless you go scuba diving at 20 plus meters with a torch, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And right now, did I see a video recently where you had like 20 meters or something bonkers?
Yeah, it was way more. It was last weekend. I was south diving, and I could see the bottom at 22 meters. I could see like
Wow.
the difference between sand and rocks, and I bet it was way clearer. It's just the light that sort of stops it,
That's incredible.
the low sun, but it's just amazing.
I
You
can't
go
even
down, you can just
imagine
see.
being in that somewhere like that.
Oh, it's really luxury. You can just dive down 5 meters and you can see every cod there is to see in, yeah, say 30 meters all around you.
Incredible.
And what kind of water temperatures are you getting?
Now it's around 6 degrees here, or out at Tetra where I'm diving the most, which is a huge island right offshore. I'm guessing in the fjords it's a bit colder because of the fresh water. I think it's 4 degrees now inside here. So
Bloody cold.
So it's not too
that's
dissimilar from here then, because we had about 7 degrees on Sundays, so it's not too dissimilar. And Aksel, how did you get started in spearfishing? Where did it all stem from?
So I've always been really pumped about the ocean, watching David Attenborough since I was a kid and everything. And in Norway, that transition where you go from being a kid to being a man is sort of a big thing. Where that's where everyone get their fancy folk suits and everything, the bunads.
Right.
And I wanted a scuba certificate. And in order to prepare myself for that, my dad bought 2 freediving kits to make me safe in the water and everything. But we never got to use it. And then a year after, during the summer, I went with a buddy to a local wreck in Stavanger, and I was just hooked immediately. I loved the challenge that it was suddenly my own capabilities who stopped me from going down deep, and not just how deep I was certified to go. So yeah, and then I joined the local club down in Stavanger and just spammed everyone to go diving all the time. So those few people who are sorry enough to say yes the first 2 weeks, they never got rid of me. So then I was lucky enough to go and dive like a lot over the last few years.
I love it. And when did you start filming your adventures? And have you done some videography before?
And nothing before. Or I've done 2 Instagram videos, like the 1 minute clips. And then I've always filmed everything I've done, not the vlog style, but the GoPro on your mask and all the shooting of the fish.
Yeah.
But I've wanted to do something more, but it's felt, it's the bar is, or I don't know the English expression, but it's really hard, like get going to start.
Yeah.
It sounds like me getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, it's sort of like that, especially now it's winter and cold.
I think Rich and Ben is trying to stoke the froth, isn't it?
Yes. Ben's got loads of froth, mate. Don't worry, it's going off all of us.
Yeah.
But your style of videography is really interesting. I know what Ben says. It's like it's a bit different, isn't it, to everyone else's what you're doing. I really like it, considering you've only been filming such a short time as well. It's really cool.
How is it different? Because I haven't watched. Although I've watched a couple of videos, I haven't watched too much. But what's different?
For me, it's like the perception of it rather than the usual like kill shots and everything else. It's just the different perceptions of which Aksel's filming in. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I have growing up, I watched all those YouTube videos, and I remember the first time I watched Daniel Mann.
Yeah.
That Britain spearfishing blog he did,
Yeah.
where the water was it was dirty water and little fish and everything, but it was so engaging when he talked to the audience and everything. Like when I was sick and couldn't go diving and everything, I just was on YouTube, and that was the video I kept coming back to. And so I thought, if I'm gonna do it, I will do it the same way, because that's a way more engaging way to show the sport.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to him on your show a couple of weeks back, and it's a good perspective to have, I think.
And it's great. And you're also teaching the viewers, stuff that I've seen of, like things like like the wolfish. I've never really seen a wolfish. That was on your
I know
video
they're
day,
cool
wasn't it?
fish.
Yeah, really cool fish. I'd love
Aren't
to
they
see one
evil
one
as
day.
well?
But I watched a video of it crushing like a Coke can at a fishmonger's
Yeah.
before. But
It's really scary to handle those fish. I was lucky because when I shot this one, that was also 2 weeks ago. It died once straight away, but I shot two before, and even though I shot them straight in the head, just the way it's supposed to do, they've just like gone all out to take me. So I've
Really?
been swimming on land and just throw them on land because then I have control.
Sounds like a
Um,
conger eel or something like that.
yeah, a bit.
And they're
But
delicious,
it's
I
delicious.
understand as well.
Yeah. I've read that they're about they can be similar to lobster in taste because they
wow.
eat much of the same things. Haven't eaten that much lobster, but wolfish is good.
I presume you get
So-
lobsters up by you, or not so much.
Yeah, we have lobsters, but
Yeah.
it's a big no-go to take them.
Oh, really?
It's
Why is
strictly
that?
prohibited. Yeah, it's been quite heavily, what's it called, taxed, or
Like
people have
overfished?
been
Yeah.
overfished. When you're diving, if you find a lobster, it's not that hard to take one.
Right.
Or it's easy for me to say you haven't tried taking them out of holes, but it's just been illegal to take them with any form of diving.
How long has that
and
been
it's-
for? Do you know?
I have no idea, as long as I can remember. And it's really
Oh.
strict. In theory, they can take all your gear and your car and your boat if they catch you taking lobster.
Wow.
But,
Presumably, commercial fishermen can still take lobster in pots.
Yeah,
or...
and you can take them in those nets you throw in the
yeah.
what's it called? Those small cages with bait
Yeah,
in it,
lobster
and then they
pots.
go in. Yeah, that's legal in the season. So that sucks
But no
when you're diving,
Yeah,
and
right.
I think it's like the 1st of October, and then when you dive the 2nd of October, the whole coast is just bombed with those spots.
Yeah,
wow.
I imagine. So talking about species, I'm just interested in what kind of species you'd be targeting.
When spearfishing,
Yeah, spearfishing or foraging if you do much of that as well.
yeah, so scallops, obviously, that's
Yeah.
so good,
Go to.
and we have so much. At least up here in Atatitra, it's just so much.
And what kind of size
Um,
scallops do you get?
I've never measured them. I know, like I got
It's not
on
all
the
about
dive the
size,
scores.
Anthony.
I just know
Says
that
a short
they
man.
No, I just heard that
there's no
they have to be
legislation
bigger
for
than your
size
hand.
there.
Yeah, it's a minimum of 10 centimeters.
Yeah, same thing.
But
Same as
I
here,
took like a ruler earlier today and just checked how small 10 is. I would never take one that is 10 centimeter. It's really small.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like the rule of thumb is I held my hand a bit, like spread the fingers a bit, and if the scallops is like small in the hand, I throw it out. And then I'd still guess it's 12, 13 centimeters across.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Is there a limit
awesome.
on scallops and things like that?
There's no bag limit, no.
Nice.
So it's really nice when you go out, you have the opportunity to take quite a bit. But then it's all about, common sense. It's no use
Absolutely.
to take 150 if it's a 2-hour drive for me, so don't need to fill up my freezer that much.
Yeah, it's
better
a
to let
lot of
them
work.
stay there and
150
spawn
scallops.
and everything. Yeah.
And so,
Well,
in terms of fish species, then, what kind of fish do you get out there? Do you get your bass, pollock? What species?
Well, bass has been caught here. I think the Norwegian record is like 7 kilos or something. So they are definitely around, coming more and more. I've never seen one myself, but it's cods, pollocks, cold fish, especially towards the north. Tons of flatfish, the halibut, which everyone knows. We have wrasse, and then a couple of the species of cod like the ling and haddock we have, and hake.
Nice. And you said flatfish. We went up to the Isle of Skye, which is probably about halfway up in between where we are in Devon to where you guys are in Norway. But the thing that was amazing was that the ground in the Isle of Skye looked really good for flatfish, but there was just none. And Arian said that flatfish are really, really rare. But what's the ground like with you?
It really depends on where you are. I found definitely the most flatfish in Stavanger, where I grew up. Yeah, around that part of the coast is quite good for flatfish. It's not those clear white sand. It's a bit of gravel and smaller rocks and bits of shells and stuff. That's where I tend to find the most. Especially turbots are supposed to like that sort of ground.
Nice.
And like, is it? It looks like, looking at your videos, it's very similar to UK in terms of it's quite kelpy. You're hunting in a very similar style to us, other than when you shoot cod by the looks of it, because you're basically getting into the kelp, you're tucking your body in, you're just waiting for the fish to come by, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the go-to way to hunt for pollock, at least. And then
Yeah.
sometimes cod as well can come and check you out.
Yeah. And then obviously with the cod, you're sort of finding them sort of feeding off the bottom, and then you shoot from the top in most of your videos.
Yeah, mostly if the visibility is good enough, it's way easier to spot cod on the sandy bottom compared to in the kelp.
Right.
Because when you're swimming over kelp, the cod's down in the kelp and in the same color, so it's practically impossible to see. But when you're swimming over sand, you can just look for something moving.
So is cod a bottom feeder then?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly lives by the bottom, but it's also pelagic. So diving in currents and stuff, you can see cods just swimming around.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I'll reword the question. Are they I don't want to say carnivorous, but are they predatory or are they like a filter feeder?
Yeah. No, they are carnivores. So they eat crabs and small fish and stuff, and each other.
Oh, nice.
So
it does seem very similar to us, except that you just get a lot, like there's just a lot larger on there, the fish species over your way.
Yeah.
I've noticed like Norway is becoming a lot more popular in terms of like the video content that you see coming on social media and everyone talking about Norway and stuff. What's the scene like over there? Is it quite a large spearfishing scene?
Yeah, I'd say it's growing more and more and more. Definitely, especially during COVID. I heard it was like an explosion for the spearfishing stores, which is really fun. And in at least one of the Facebook groups, I think it's 8,500 members.
Right.
And it's more than that spearfishing for sure than our Facebook group.
And a second ago, earlier on, you were saying about how the viz, can be 20, 30 meters, or you're in 22 meters depth, and you could see the bottom. With the hunting, are the fish skittish? Because in that kind of viz, surely they must see you.
Yeah, pollock is pretty much, or at least I find pollock is quite hard to take when the viz is so good. Then the summer is much better when it's around 7 to 10 meters viz, because they come and check you out. But when they can check you out from 10 meters, then they don't have to come closer.
Yeah.
But for cods, I don't really have noticed any difference. You have to sneak up on them either way and try to not spook them away.
Are you finding cod throughout the entire year then, or is it a specific season?
No, cods is throughout the year, except for in the spring, because then it's the algae bloom and you don't really see that much.
Okay.
But it also depends a lot on where you are. In Stavanger, I've seen very few cods, but here I can find cod on every dive. So I'm definitely lucky in terms of place to study.
I think it sounds like that if we don't manage to get out there during the summer when there's water is a bit warmer, then we just need to take 2 7mm suits, wear a 14mm suit, and just go out with him in the winter in 6 degrees.
I was going to say, what do you wear, Axel? Do you have like a 10mm suit, or is it just
I
don't go out for very long?
7mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I use a 7mm all year long. During the winter, I also use a 3mm singlet underneath.
That's like a vest, is it?
Yeah, like a vest.
Yeah. And a hood on the top of the vest, or just a vest?
No, that's just a vest, like nothing more. But the brand I'm using, which I'm sponsored by, they have made their hood so that the opening for the face is a lot smaller, which really helps, because I've noticed when I'm diving and I try to have my GoPro, like the headband under the hood, and then it creates like this small gap on my forehead, and it was so cold, and that was in November when it was still 8 degrees in the water. So that's really nice.
Yeah, good stuff. What about like your hands and feet? Like, are you using like mittens, or like where the fingers all joined together, or using gloves, or and how?
I've been using, I used mittens before, and then they got worn out, and then I got these 5mm gloves, which is super comfortable and nice to use. And I just like them so much I kept using them throughout the winter. I just got a few mittens now that I'm hoping to get out to use this weekend. But yeah, I tried them on, and I'm not sure I'm gonna go away from the gloves because they're so. Yeah, you have so much freedom with your hands.
Yeah,
so
I
to
can't
speak.
imagine what it's like to spear with a mitten on, because you have like a spare like index finger and thumb, don't you? And the other three are all
Yeah.
together. Just be a
Yeah.
weird feeling.
So those two fingers are gonna be cold, and
Yeah,
always.
right.
But
Well,
no,
they'd be
it's,
good if you just plan on going out and just stroking the fish. Or you're just going
I
around.
used it this in Christmas. I used mittens for one dive, but they were too small. But that was a clip on my latest video where I was stroking a fish with a mitten.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice.
Is this 5 mil boots or something a bit thicker?
No, 7.
Okay,
Yeah, and they can get a bit compromised when you go deeper. So also use those fin cross
Oh,
if you
right.
are familiar with those.
Like the fin
Because
savers.
then,
Is that what you
yeah,
mean?
it's
or-
like this little thing you put on the fin,
How does that
and
help
that
then?
helps. It just helps. They are like a bit tight, so they just help the foot pocket to stay in place when the sock compromises. Sort
Yeah,
of.
so when you start
Ah.
going deeper, the especially with 7 mils, obviously as you go past 10 meters, the suit and the neoprene compresses. So where you've put your fins on with a 5 or a 7 mil sock, I've got 5 mil socks, and I find it a little bit. When you get down, you can feel the fin moving around on your foot way more than when you're at the surface, and so those fin savers are
Yeah, that makes sense. Never
just
would have thought about
just to
it.
keep them on.
I thought it was for
Yeah.
people that brought the wrong size fins.
Instead
but
of
also
changing the
it's-
foot pocket, just put these rubber bands
Yeah,
around your feet.
that's literally what I thought it was. Oh well,
But I also have a bit foot pockets, so then I feel it even more when I'm going deep. But
Yeah.
I would never have too tight of foot pockets, because without the blood circulating in your feet, you're gonna get really cold.
Yeah.
And so when you're saying with all of that, what kind of depths are you diving for these fish?
No, like in Norway, you really don't have to dive deep at all to find fish and to get a lot of fish. You can shoot. I know a guy who shot a 15-kilo cod from the surface.
Wow.
So it's not really about, you don't have to go deep, but it can help. When I'm hunting for pollocks and stuff in the kelp, I tend not to go deeper than 15 meters, mostly at 8 to 10. But it's a work in progress. I want to adapt to go a bit deeper to follow the fish when they dive away from me. But yeah, like when I'm starting to hunt for ling now, trying to figure out how they work, and they're really good to eat as well. And they are from 15 meters and below.
Yeah.
Ling are normally a wreck fish, aren't they?
Yeah,
they
Or
like
at least a
sponge
rocky and
structure.
holes.
Yeah.
That's where I found them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
nice.
So
Yeah, and so for anyone who wants to visit Norway from other countries, so we get asked a lot of questions from listeners about visiting Norway because obviously we've been talking about it, and they wanted us to ask you, like, so if you're coming to visit Norway, is it possible just to drive along the coast, find a spot, jump in, and sort of have fairly good luck, or do you need to really know where you're going in terms of finding fish? I mean, obviously, I know some places hold more fish than other places, but is it fairly good all over? Or I mean, where do you prefer to dive? The north or the south? Or
I haven't been diving that much north, not as much as I'd like. But what I found in the north is that it's quite desolate. Then now I'm up with like Lofoten, Tromsø, like halibut country.
yeah,
And I found it quite desolate,
right,
most of the places. And then suddenly it's like tons of fish in one spot. Suddenly there's a halibut somewhere. So if you are up north, try and find a bridge or some place with current. That's where the
yeah.
fish tend to stay. And same towards south, really. If there's a bridge, then there's currents, and that's a good place to start.
So you're just looking for loads of structure, lots of current, that sort of thing, really.
Yeah.
And you don't need a boat or anything. So if we're coming on holiday, you could literally just jump in off the shore and find those locations fairly easily. You don't need a boat to be able to get to those locations.
No, I've been diving, except for competition diving, I've only been diving from a boat once
Really?
in my life.
And so further into that, with people that are going to Norway, is there any licensing you need for any of the things? Like, you know, we've got licenses down in Devon for shellfish, so for our lobster, scallops and stuff. But are there any nature reserves, anywhere people should stay away?
Yeah, don't spear cods in the area around the capital. That's forbidden because there are so few left. That's not the place you would want to go on a spearfishing holiday anyways. Other than that, it's not really anything as far as I'm concerned of. A maximum limit of what you can take out of the country, I think it's 20 kilos of fillets or something.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's a lot. So
hey, if you saw how much pollock these boys brought back from the Isle of Skye, I don't think you'd be saying
it's all gone though, mate. It's all gone.
Mine isn't.
Is it not? Send them over because I don't think I'm going to have much luck in the next few months.
Well, currently it's all covered in bloody pheasant.
Oh yeah, I need to.
I need to work
pheasant as
through
well,
that.
don't I? Yeah. I will drop round sometime.
Also, I think if the baggage charge from EasyJet would be rather expensive if you start taking more than 20 kilos of fish home.
Yeah, right.
It's one huge suitcase with fish. It's worth it.
It's quite a lot. Yeah.
Airport security just look at you and go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I guess
No.
if you catch a big halibut, like that might just fill the suitcase. I'm interested.
Yeah.
What do you think the fascination with the halibut is? Is it just because they're so big?
Yeah, and because the hunt for them is so boring. It's you just swim over large areas of seeing nothing, but it's this sandy-ish bottom with some corally balls on them. And you can just swim over that for hours at a time and see nothing.
So why do people want to do it? I mean, I love flatfish, but
when you find a halibut, it's so great.
Yeah, okay.
So that's it's way more fun to shoot a fish if you've been working really hard for 5 days.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, agreed.
Just 10 minutes.
What is your favorite fish to hunt? Would you say, Axel?
I think I would say pollock. I love the waiting game and seeing them come in, lure them in. But also, yeah, anything really.
Flatfish?
Yeah, flatfish is more like chill diving. Because when I'm hunting for flatfish, I don't dive that much. I just snorkel around in the shallows.
Yeah.
Because I've found plenty of nice flatfish in the shallows, so I don't see the need to go dive deep. So that's something, yeah, like this Christmas I was home diving with my sister. We were just cruising along the shallows and finding flatfish, and it was just great.
Yeah, that was in your latest video. It looked lovely and looked like there's plenty of fish there. What would you say is your favorite fish to eat?
That has to be halibut. The local club I joined down in Stavanger, they have this yearly trip up to the north. The 2 last years I haven't been able to go. But my dad has been there and he shot a 25-kilo halibut. So whenever I'm home, he fried it up with a lot of butter and mashed potatoes, and it's so good.
Nice.
And are they similar in terms of eating to other flatfish? Like, they've got the bones through the middle of them and you get effectively 4 fillets?
Yeah, in that way they are similar, just a lot bigger. But the taste is something, and the texture is something else. It's much more firm.
Is it similar to anything else?
I'm not sure really what I should compare it to.
Yeah. Well, we've got to try it then, haven't we? Let's get up there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I've tried to do the same with cod, like fry it in with lots of butter, and it just falls apart. So it's a lot more firm than that, at least.
I wonder if it's similar. Have you tried Dover sole?
Yes, I have, but that's a long time ago. It's 5 years or something, so I don't remember.
I was going to say, because Dover sole can be quite a firm, although it can be flaky. It can be, if it's cooked in a specific way.
Talking about fish, I'm looking at this picture. I've just sent it to you lads as well on the WhatsApp.
Yeah,
that Aksel sent us of this. What's the wolffish? Is it called? Is it?
Yeah, the one I sent on the Instagram.
Yeah. You sent. So
it looks really mean, doesn't it? It's like a golem.
It's like so. Just describe it. It's this like I don't know how you describe that.
It looks like one of the ogres from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's a good description. Really.
Or like a triggerfish that's been run over. It's got that same like leathery skin of the triggerfish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like
it's a nightmare to fillet.
Is it?
Because the skin is so hard, and then also when you come through the skin, it's like the flesh is not attached really to the skin. So when you move the fillet, when you have cut the fillet off and you're trying to skin it, it's like all wiggly on top of the skin.
Oh wow!
It's a really weird
Wow.
fish to.
Oh
yeah.
well, very
Well, that
exciting.
sounds
Hopefully we can
tasty.
get up there this year. We'll see.
Yeah, you should.
I was just looking at the other messages as well that you sent us, Axel. You got some interesting stories about saunas as well.
Yeah, it's the best part of the competition is the sauna, if there is any.
Yeah, so you went to the freshwater European Championships. How did you get on?
Well, I didn't do too well at all, but it was really fun. I didn't come there with a lot of expectation because I had half a day, 1.5 day to scout and never been diving in fresh water before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I will go and have a good time, do my best, hopefully get a pike and some fish. And I got both pike and fish, so I was just happy. And it was really fun to meet some of meet the international scene, sort of.
Yeah. And how did you get selected for that then? Was it something you put yourself down for? The club put you forward? What happened?
It's the national team of Norway it's been some changes, but now it's from the result from the last two years of the national championship.
Yeah.
So we have one championship or national championship a year, and you get points for first place, second place, etc.
Yeah.
And then it's the sum of the last two competitions.
So it's very similar to the way it works in the UK as well, then. And
quite.
so how did you place in the nationals then? How did you do?
This year or 2022, I came third. The year before that, I came first.
Oh wow!
Fun.
Nice.
Awesome, man. And how many people are competing in the nationals in Norway? Quite a few.
Yeah, not that many really. The competition scene is not that big. It's a bit controversy around it, but I'd say 25.
All right, okay.
It's a nice group of people at least.
Yeah, awesome, man. Considering the length of time you've been going, man, your photos and stuff are crazy good.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it's I have some photos there that's taken by proper photographs. Photographs. Yeah, no, photographers. I mean, so I'm lucky in that way.
Who's the guy that you I credited for the photo that you sent me? What the is it Barra boat?
Barba boat.
Barba boat. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, he's the captain on this boat that's called Baba, and it's a 37-foot sailing yacht, which is used as a proper exploration, expedition, storytelling platform. It's a really cool project. That's an Insta you want to check out. So yeah, he's been doing a couple of expeditions and research trips, gotten on people like the best in their fields in different stuff. So yeah, I've been on a couple of trips with him. So the picture I sent you as my promo picture, that's from 2020 on a trip that ended up in National Geographic actually. So
really?
That's fun. And we were diving. So that was up in Lofoten, and we were driving the boat in a fjord that's quite famous because we wanted to check out some. I can't remember what it was. Something up in the hills. And I was asleep, and I just woke up by this weird creaking noise, and I was like, "What was that?" And I go out, and the fjord is like frozen, so we couldn't go in. And then it was like, gear up, Axel. Now we're gonna go diving. So then it's just to suit up. I mean, I was so cold, just got out of bed, and it's cold up there during the winter. But then we jumped in, and it was so cool. Just dark below you because it's 300 meters, but diving under the ice and looking up, it was epic.
Nice.
So
that's a cool
Baba boat. That's definitely an Instagram to check out.
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool guy.
So I'm just looking at it now. It really does look quite cool. I'll check it out for you.
Yeah. So 2 summers ago, or 1.5, we sailed to Svalbard. That was trip of a lifetime. Really, it was so much going on. Tons of whales and polar bears and everything.
That's amazing. So cool. Have you I noticed on your Instagram there's a lionfish picture. I presume you've obviously been to some other places around the world that perhaps aren't quite as cold as there. Where have you been, and any places you would recommend?
I've been a couple of trips to Kenya, and one of them I went diving, and there was the lionfish. And also, but that's a few years ago, and way back I was in Thailand, but I would definitely want to go again to dive properly there.
Yeah.
Lionfish. Where are they from? Because any time that I see anything about them on YouTube, everyone's like, "Oh, they're an invasive species. You must exterminate them." Absolutely. I'm like, yeah, but they've got to have a home somewhere. Maybe somebody knows.
I'll Google it and get back to you, shall I?
Because
maybe they're just too good at evolution, so nothing can stop them.
I was going to say, what is going to be its predator, considering it's like the biggest ball of spikes? It's kind of like a fish, sea urchin with poison. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But Daniel Ann said that they were, really nice in one of his videos. And he wish he caught more.
I was just going to give Anthony his science lesson for today's episode. So there's 12 different species, and they range from Western Pacific Oceans, Western Indian Ocean, and mostly around there, India to Northern Australia, Hawaii, Persian Gulf, Indo-Pacific, that kind of area. So fairly hot places.
Nice. Not Norway.
Not Norway.
No, not Norway.
If you start seeing lionfish in Norway,
then I'd be shocked. Then I was like, that would have been something.
I think the sweat falling off of the top of your head while you're in the sea would probably give it away. Good old global warming.
So, anywhere in the world that you do want to go spearfishing?
Oh, I'd say New Zealand. Definitely New Zealand. That looks amazing. Britain would be fun as well.
You can come over here during the summer and we can show you the bass, because last year it was just, I saw more bass last year than I saw any other fish. It was just bonkers.
How is the bass taste like compared to pollocks or cods?
Depends how you cook it, really. Like, some people really rate it. Some people are pretty, meh about it. I think
so. My entire
really
life, I've been brought up around rod and liners. I never knew about spearfishing before last year, and or year before last, and everybody raved about how, and they always call it sea bass, and like everybody that I've ever said sea bass to is like, no, it's just bass. Is always been like glowed up and this glamour of it's such a nice rare fish. Personally, I prefer pollock. And it's, I salt baked one. So cover a pan in salt with like a egg white, and then put the fish on it and cover that in salt. And that was amazing. But again, I think if you salt baked a pollock, it would be probably a little bit nicer. So yeah,
I think it depends what time of the year you're asking, to be honest, because at the beginning of the season, I love bass. Get to the end of the season, give me something else.
So true. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've got anything on flatfish. Like Dover sole for me is just
the best, Dover sole's the best.
We've had things like the gurnard, the red mullet. Those they're just in a different league to the bass. But maybe if they were rarer, it'd be
Yeah, my favourite skate. It's what like one of my. Do you get many rays up there?
I've seen a few around, but on one of the areas where the Nordic Championship was, there was just so much skate. I think I saw 5 in one day.
Oh wow,
nice.
And they were quite good size as well. But I've heard that you have to cut off the wings really fast to avoid ammonia to go into the meat. No,
not that I've found. You can, as long as you don't leave them too long before you fillet them and freeze them. I found that sort of you can leave it 24 hours.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I've never had any issue with them tasting bad or ammonia, and I absolutely love them. They are an absolute pain in the arse to fillet and then remove the skin. But once you get the technique in, once you've done a few, they're not too bad. And supposedly boiling water, if you pour boiling water over the skin just before you start filleting them, it's much easier to remove.
Well, I've never taken one because I thought that if I was going to take one, I have to be prepared to deal with it at one time, like right away. But that's some nice tips.
Yeah, no, I've got loads in the freezer. I adore it. I need to get through those bloody those birds and get back to all my fish.
Yeah, I can give you my postal code. I wouldn't say no to some pheasant.
Yeah. Oh, I've
do them over in the summer. They'll still be in his freezer.
Yeah. Sat next to the boat.
Do you do any hunting or anything like that besides spearfishing? Or
I took my hunter's course before that expedition up to Svalbard to be able to carry a gun. And I really want to start, but it's expensive and I'm renting a student flat, so I have nowhere to store the gun. It's quite strict there. So it's something I'm looking forward to in 5 years or something.
and
Nice.
is that just so you can like be more sustainable, harvesting your own meat, being more connected to it, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I really love the feeling of getting your own meat. It's such a big satisfaction. The experiences you get out in nature is also, it's so nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like here with
It really is, yeah.
spearfishing, it's even though it's just you swim around underwater, you can have some extraordinary experiences above as well. And all the places you end up going where you never thought you would end up. But suddenly, okay, there's a big fish in there, and then you go and it's just beautiful.
Mm.
It's about the people as well. I mean, I never thought I'd meet anyone like Anthony, but look where we are today. I mean,
What does that mean?
well, he's the odd one, Ben. Don't be offended.
Honestly, you're just amazed because you've met a demigod. But
Demigod.
you're welcome.
Does
We're gonna
everyone,
get copyrighted by Disney now.
Axel, when you first messaged me, you said another Norwegian guy put you onto our podcast and told you about it. So there's obviously, we know there's a few Norwegians that listen to the podcast because it shows us on our stats, and we're actually surprised how many people in Norway actually listen. And
how many is it? Or can you tell?
I can't say exactly, but there's a good percentage of our listeners. Yeah, do most people in Norway that listen to the podcast think Anthony's a complete twat?
Well, I will just not answer to that.
Oh, great!
No, I don't know him that well.
Norway.
We always pick on him. Poor guy.
Okay, fine. I'll pick on Ben. Does everyone think Ben's boring?
Is that all you've
I
got?
don't know him that well. The guy who
That is all
tipped
you've
me
got, isn't
about
it?
your-
Honestly,
I've got to take my shots where I can.
I was one of the ones that like spoke of Aksel lots, and I think am I pronouncing your surname right with Orstavik?
Yeah, actually it's with the Norwegian letter Ø, and I have a middle name which also have the Norwegian letter Å, but I just decided to keep it simple for you guys and everyone else on the internet. I just went with Orstavik.
Nice.
But
How did you actually say it then?
Aksel Engebråten Orstavik.
Yeah, it's a bit more complicated.
I'm definitely
also,
not.
yeah,
I'm
and also
not
have
going to be able
like,
to pronounce that.
and also have the dialect from Stavanger, and it's quite, the R's are like and everything, so it's
Right.
makes it even harder.
Nice.
But yeah, Aksel Orstavik, that's works wonders.
Yeah.
Awesome. And going back to what Rich was saying a second ago about sustainability, and you were talking about competition. Sorry, I'm just changing the subject because I don't want the whole of Norway unsubscribing, because obviously the whole of Norway hates me and I'm not going to be allowed in once I get to the airport. That's fine. The competitions you were talking about earlier on and how there's only sort of 20, 25 people that compete. Sustainability wise, what are the rules and regs on the competitions out there? What's the limit for catching fish?
So it's going through a bit of changes now to sort of, the rules have been like varying a bit from place to place. Has been a proper revamp of the rules from the Norwegian Diving Federation in 25 years or something. So now they are doing it properly. Like, first thing is that you do have to take responsibility for your catch. If you dump fish, you are banned for 5 years or something. And what you talked about, people throwing wrasse away after the competition, that's like, what the fuck? You can't do that.
Just to clarify on that, there's been a bit of a miscommunication on that. Just because I don't want the BSA being seen in such a bad light across the world, but it's not that people were throwing them away. It's that actually a lot of people that go to these competitions that have been competing for years and years and years have come from quite far. Which obviously for you is probably not even that far for some of your competitions, and they just don't have the means. They're staying over for a weekend. They don't have the means to be able to take them away. So then those wrasse are given to or taken to Plymouth, which is our local fisheries, and then used as pot baits. But again, like you were saying, the BSA are changing or hoping to change a bit about the competitions and hoping to stop that this year.
So it's but there's also been well arranged times I've been joining. Either there's like a fishery who can take the catch and use it to something useful, or it's been freezer facilities, and it's always someone who wants fish.
Is there
the
commercial
Nordics,
spearfishing in Norway? Sorry.
there is one guy who just brought up the subject in one of the forums like last week, because I've never seen anyone who's done it commercially, and he tried a bit on halibuts, because you have this recreational quota you can use, but the pay is just ridiculously low. So it's probably not going to be a big market. And also then fishing for cods and pollocks, you're not going to empty out those stocks, but it can maybe be a more bigger issue if it goes for wolfish and halibut. And especially wolfish, they do a really good job at eating all the sea urchins. So we keep a beautiful kelp forest. So that's why I've only shot 3 during my 6 years of diving.
I did notice actually when I was watching your videos, you have so many sea urchins there.
Yeah, and down here it's not that bad, but up north it's really bad.
Really,
there's this whole group of divers with like scuba divers who dive around Tromsø and they smash sea urchins with hammers and rocks to stop them. So I would not shoot the wolfish up there because.
Do you harvest the uni, as they call it, or the sea urchins yourself? Have you ever tried
a few times, and I've only found the red ones, the bigger ones, and they taste like banana peel and a consistency of something nasty.
Bogies.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not too keen, but sure, I will try it again. But I'm not sold yet.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the ones that the Japanese use, or I'm just trying to remember the word that the Australians use. Come on, boys.
You put me on the spot now, man.
Something.
Yeah, it's
God, we're gonna absolutely get flamed. Kinna.
Yeah,
that's right.
The kinna. Yeah.
Kinna,
yeah. Sea urchin or uni is again another one of my favorites, but they've got to be the black ones with the big gonads. Again, going back to size, big is always best. Those
is that the ones with the long stingers, or are they small altogether?
They're small all over. I'd say probably 2 or 3 inch spikes. A lot of the ones that I've seen in the UK have got that they're quite a small body with long spikes, and they just haven't got anything in them. But so it's a specific breed, maybe. But sorry, going back onto competitions. So with the sustainability in mind, I mean, you said you came first 2 years ago. How many kind of fish are you catching? How many species? How many per species?
So it was then it was 7 per species. That was Ceratetra, and it's basically most of the fish you're gonna find. Wrasse is not allowed, and for halibuts, wolfish, and that flat one with a fishing rod on its head, monkfish, it's maximum of 1 allowed, and no skates. And then I think I got 50 kilos of fish over those 2 days. Overall. But the first day, that's a picture on mainstay. It's like I'm standing there barely holding up all these huge cods and pollocks. But so I can see how some people think that's problematic. But to put it in perspective, the guy who arranged it was parallel to the Nordic Championship at that time. Between all of us, I think we caught maybe 2 tons of fish between maybe 50 divers. And he said that's less than, as you'd say, the trawlers. It's just nothing compared. And for me, who's a student with not that much cash, it's so nice to bring home so much fish. And I have a small freezer here, and I have a cousin who has a large freezer. So I lived off fish all winter last year.
So you take all of your fish home, and every diver has to take all their fish home.
Yeah, or they just have to make sure it's dispatched. So the guy who arranged it, he also said that if you fillet your fish and clean off the scales, he could take it and make sure it was given to someone who had use for it. And there was this one guy who forgot a bunch of fish in the filleting room overnight. And he heard it the next day that that's not how you do it.
I think, and like loads of conversations we've had in the past, I think with competitions, for anybody that's looking from outside in, you only just need to use a little bit of common sense to see that competitive spearfishing is not what it used to be. The fish in the sea aren't what they used to be. Gone are the days where I think the local competitions were just outside of Exmouth. And you'd get some of the really good spearfishers coming out with 180 to 200 kilos of fish in 6 hours. I mean, those days have gone. But now, like last year, I think the most amount of fish caught in any one event was about 50 fish. And we're talking about sub 100 kilos. But everybody, last year, again, the wrasse is a bit of a thing, but everybody all those fish were taken. They were all used. They all went to freezers, and they've all been either used as pot baits for fishermen, so they haven't had to go and find even more fish.
Yeah, compared to anything else, it's super sustainable. But compared to normal spearfishing, it's just a different. It's something else, and it's not for everyone. In Norway now, we've just started, or after hearing on your podcast, that species competition. That's a really cool one, and I thought that it must be possible to do something like that in Norway. So I reached out to the brand who sponsors me, and now we've got a similar thing here. But because you have like 10 points for turbot and 2 points for pollock and whatever. But here the coast is so varied. So for me to get a cod is the simplest thing ever. But if you are at this most southern place in Norway, it's super hard. Practically no cods there. So now we have a maximum of 2 per fish, and everyone is counted the same. So if you get a place, it's counted as much as a halibut, and we don't register the weight, just make sure they're big enough. That's sort of a competition without being a competition, because it's just meant to inspire you to get out and try to find new stuff, trying to find that turbot or that Dover sole, or for me to find that ling and master that fish. And also it's over a whole year, so you don't have to rush and shoot everything you find for the first dive.
Who is it that's hosting this competition?
It's a Norwegian brand called Freevansliv.
Okay.
So
that's who sponsors you, is it?
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
So
nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Lads, we're making a change internationally.
Really cool. Love it.
Well, I was literally about to say, are your brand going to be in touch with us to pay us for the idea? Not that we even came up with the idea.
Of course. You can get a guided spearfishing trip at Heathrow if you come this year. That can be your payment.
Absolutely, that sounds like a deal. The species comp, we've spoken about it on the podcast a few times, and I'm sure you guys have heard some of the dramas that have happened. But with dramas aside, the species comp, I think, was just a phenomenally sustainable competition. As you say, you go out and you get your 2 bass, your 2 bollock. I mean, for us, it was 3 per species, but then you're focusing on something else and you're learning all about those fish.
Yeah,
we've said before as well, it's all about like new divers getting involved and just like mastering the skill of hunting different species as well. That's like the cool part for me.
Yeah, so the guy who owns that brand, he was on a Norwegian podcast a few weeks ago, and he said when he started diving in Norway 20 years ago, they didn't have Facebook groups or anything, so they had an emailing list to all the spearfishers, because there were only like 6 of them, where they said like, oh, now it's good visibility, shot a huge cod, and he said that it was so nice to be a part of that community, and that was sort of the goal here, that even though we live in southern Norway and you have small fish and no pollocks and no cods, and everything is small, you still can get loads of different flatfish, and some of the red mullets I've seen have been caught, and get those fish that we don't have up here. It's sort of everyone on the same term, and also you can pick plastic and get points for that.
That's cool.
Nice. Yeah, rubbish is another thing that I think should have been included in the species comp. Get points for different kinds of rubbish. That's really cool. And so with the mailing list and with obviously the scene getting bigger there, do you have any problem with your camera taking sort of pixelated photos when you're landing your catch. Because Richard recently, any place he's been, it's as though I think somebody said that he's been spearfishing in Minecraft, because he's trying to hide his location from everyone else because he doesn't want to give away his spots, because he's obviously a unsharing horrible bastard. But is it really sort of secretive out with you, or is it just everybody's just like, the fish are here, come get them?
It's sort of it depends on where in the country you are. So, for example, in Stavanger, if you have a good scallop spot, you don't share that scallop spot because it's not that much scallops here. And the same for me with that video where we found just hundreds of scallops laying around. I'm not going to say that spot because it's nice to have some spots a bit more sheltered from people. But yeah, if someone is coming and asking, hey, I'm at Hitra, where is it good to dive? I'm definitely gonna say that area is good. And the rule of thumb is that all the bridges are good stuff, as long as you, of course, have to watch out for boats and stuff. But bridges are good, and then you are sure that everyone can go and have a good time. And there's so much fish there, really, that it's no use to be secretive.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. That's awesome, man. We're running out of time. Should we get on to the listeners' questions? It's
sure.
It's a bit of a quick fire round, really. So you don't need to go too in depth, but we'll just shoot a load of questions your way. Ben, do you want to take the first one?
Yeah, the first one is, have you noticed an increase in popularity of Norway as a spearfishing destination? I think you might have said about that earlier.
Yeah, especially in Norway, there's a lot more people trying it out. But I'm guessing it's going to be more and more tourists as well.
Yeah, is that a good thing? Do you think, or not?
Yeah, as long as they abide by the rules, like no lobster, that's a big one. And also halibut has a maximum size of 2 meters.
Jeez.
Yeah, and that's a huge fish, and it's because they are so filled with toxins, and also they are so good breeders, basically. So there's been some instances with people posting pictures, like tourists taking pictures. They've been sparing huge halibuts, and that's also been not very welcomed, which is sad because they had a catch of their lifetime and they're getting flamed for it. But yeah, don't take 2 meter halibut and you are good.
Get down there with a tape measure first, I guess.
It's a bit like the place down where we go. Hey, just measure them up first and then take them.
Exactly.
Aksel, tips for lasting in cold water.
Swim a lot. If you are beginning to feel cold, just start swimming. Take a 300-meter sprint to like sea mark or a little island or something, and move your hands, like drop your harpoon and just move your fingers and toes and everything to get warm again. Maybe have like a thermos with hot water in your buoy. That also helps.
Nice. So what's the most important thing to know when spearfishing in Norway?
You don't have to go deep. There's no pressure on going deep. Just be calm in the water and you find some place with a little bit of current and you're good to go.
Nice.
What would you say is the best species to target in your waters that tastes the best? Let's imagine you're going to give us a little bit of a tour. What fish are we targeting? Top 3?
Yeah, top 3. It's if you're Trondheim and further north, the halibut. If you can find a halibut, that's the dream.
Yeah.
And then I'd say cod. Yeah, and pollock. They get big here, so it's fun to shoot them. It's an exciting hunt.
How big?
My personal best is I'm happy with that. It's at 6 kilos.
That's still quite big.
At the Norwegian
It's almost bigger than that one you made up, Anthony.
No, it isn't.
Was it 18 pounds or something?
Yeah, Anthony shot an 18-pounder when he was on double Oscar.
22 pounds.
So say by season 3, that fish is going to be so big.
It was a whale. So, sorry, was that 6 kilos or 8 kilos?
6 kilos, but during the Norwegian Championship 1.5 years ago, a guy shot one that was 8.
So just converting that into pounds, there's 2.2 pounds per kilo, 2.2 times
like 16, 18 pounds?
Yeah, 15, 16 pounds. Christ. Nearly as big as the one I caught. But
Aksel, what are the size numbers and limits on halibut?
So smallest is 80 centimeters, and that's about, I think it's 8 kilos. Maximum is 2 meters, as I said. And if you are further south than Trondheim, basically, they are not allowed to shoot between, I think it's all of from the 20th of December until April. They are
Nice.
not allowed to shoot.
Is there a good like source of
But-
information for these kind of like restrictions, seasonal or otherwise?
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's an app made by what's it called in English, the Fisheries
Yep.
Directorate. And it's, if you just Google it, like app Norway regulations, you will find it. It has a little fishing hook on it.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's like the literal translation is free time fishing app, I think.
Cool.
Where you can find all the info of everything you need. So yeah, that's also maybe one thing you should know if you're diving in Norway.
Mhm.
That one.
Nice.
Awesome.
Brilliant. What? And a second ago, you said your PB for pollock. What's your PB cod and coalfish?
Oh, my coalfish is not that big, really. 3 kilos. I shot it at
Yeah, that'll do.
yeah, but in like just south of a city called Bodø, you have Saltstrømmen, which is one of the strongest tidal currents in the world, and the coalfish there get absolutely huge. They are so big. So I was diving there, and I only got 3 kilos, and that's was tiny compared to what could have been there.
How big did they get
and
there?
I think the Norwegian national record is 19 kilos.
Oh, goodness.
And I think you can see several 10 kilo plus goldfish there. But I've only been there in shit visibility, so I've seen nothing.
Wow.
A 44-pound coalfish.
I think that's the record. It's huge. So yeah.
Imagine the crispy skin from that, Anthony.
I am. I'm salivating.
Any advice for someone wanting to drive to Norway and travel up the coast diving different areas?
I would go to Bergen quite early on the way up. I'd skip Stavanger. It's not that special. Go to Bergen. Lots of great people there. Lots of cool currents to dive. And then up to Hitra, where I dive. It's just so beautiful. And then go as far north as you can. The whole thin part of Norway is, I haven't been diving there that much, but it's so beautiful, the nature and everything.
Awesome.
What time of year would you recommend going?
Late summer to autumn, like
Cool.
between August and November. August and October is the best.
Nice.
Spot on.
Axel, can you just tell everyone where they can find you and give your sponsor a shout out again if you want?
Yeah, so people can find me at Instagram. My name is Aksel Orstavik. Should be quite easy to find. Same on YouTube. If you want to reach out, just send me a message and I will hopefully see it. And yeah, I'm sponsored by Norwegian diving brand Frivannsliv. Really good guys and really passionate about the sport and what's it called? The eco-friendliness of things. They've just developed a new suit with all recycled materials and everything. So
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
yeah, good guys.
And have they got a website as well that you can buy stuff from?
Yeah. So
Nice.
like on my latest video, in the end, you can see the logo and how it's written. So
Yeah. Cool, man.
they're really good stuff. So if you are based in Norway or want some warm gear, they are nice. And they're really
Awesome.
cool camouflage as well. Looks like kelp. Love it.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at that. It looks awesome, man. Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully we can get up to come dive with you sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks for having me.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank
It's
you.
great to meet you and looking forward to meet you at some point this year, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be great.
I need to buy 3 more 7 mils. That's all.
we were talking about like trying to do a trip this year. So if we can manage to pull that off, then
that'd be
man,
really great.
We'll give you a shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I
man.
might. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be working here in Trondheim or in Bergen this summer. But either way, it's both places have some good spearfishing locations.
Nice.
And if I end up working in Bergen, it will be at that dive shop.
Awesome,
and I have the car
fantastic.
at my disposal to dive. So then we can have some nice trips to all those currents in Bergen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Amazing.
That'd be cool, man.
Oh.
Well, yeah, just coming on, dude, and yeah, we'll keep following you. Your stuff's awesome, man. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, you too. love the podcast.
Yeah, cheers,
Thanks,
man.
man.
Thanks for coming on. And tell everyone in Norway that I'm not that horrible.
Yeah, no, I don't think they think you are.
I may be brash, but I'm nice in person.
He's not.
Fuck
You have
you.
you have to come up and show everyone for yourself.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Big
I look
comedy
forward.
guy.
Well, just get a few drinks in me and get me in the saunas, and we'll be fine.
Oh,
That's the way to.
Awesome. Cheers again,
Cheers,
Axel.
Axel.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Axel.
mate.
See you. Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, man, that was good.
Another great
Such
guy.
Apart from the
such a-
fact that you're ripping into me, you fucking prick.
You didn't hear before you arrived. We press record. So when you do your first podcast edit, yeah,
You
we've
might
left
hear
a
some
little
love.
surprise for you.
I've left you. I left you a love message, basically. So,
Aw.
because for anyone that doesn't know, this is the first podcast that Anthony's actually going to edit.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So
Yeah, and everybody.
forgive us if it's shit.
It's not going to be. There's going to be loads. I've got new soundboards.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
I've got squeaky horn noises. I've got like. There's going to be loads of stuff.
Well, is this like a podcast for dogs or something?
No, I'm just going to liven it up a bit and make it sound cool. I'm going to turn your voice into a Dalek.
Well, actually, talking about that, the reason why last week I sounded like a robot was because my internet is so terrible. So, in case anyone's wondering, I don't actually stutter. It's just my internet's terrible. But yeah, I left you a love message, mate. You'll hear it later on.
I look forward to it.
I'm recording. He'll hear this back now when he does his editing.
Anthony, you look like a giant walking. You're awesome, man. To spearfishing. When you edit this.
I'll get you back. You wait.
Yeah, Axel's a really nice guy. It's really quite impressive actually, like how much he's done in like such little time, really.
I was
And
going to say he's not been
it's-
diving forever, has he? He's
no, and his socials are like really, really on point, man. Really good. Definitely worth having a check out on the YouTube.
Yeah, if you haven't looked him up before, it's AKSELORSTAVIK. Aksel Orstavik, and awesome videos. I'd love to get
Yeah,
out
really
to some
good.
of those locations sometime.
We definitely got to arrange something for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, until the next one, lads. Who do we have on next week?
I should know this. It's in my calendar.
You can tell everyone's working hard outside of it.
Oh, it's our
Well,
mate Matt, isn't it? Is that next
Yeah,
week?
Matthew Hunt. We got our very own Matthew Hunt coming on next week. So
Oh,
Yeah.
chairman of the Cornish Spearfishing Club.
yeah, so
all around nice guy. That'd be really nice to have a chat to Matt.
I think we're gonna have a good one next week. I think Matt's all about the banter, isn't he? So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, gotcha.
I can't wait to rip it off Anthony again. All next week.
Oh, honestly, now that I know that you suddenly got all these big Billy bollocks, you I'm probably going to end up offending listeners with the amount that I'm going to offend you, but never mind. No, I
don't
got
think that's
thick skin.
possible.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
I'm just happy you didn't talk about any bloody milling machines this week and CNCs and everything.
No,
else.
so I've now started a new podcast with Nick called Fuck Richard, and we just talk about CNC.
I saw Nick sent you a whole load of pictures of his what is it, CNC machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. While I was pretending to be you on our messenger chat, and then
Yeah,
I
I
spelt your
noticed
name.
I did
Richard.
notice that. I did notice that, mate. Yeah, anyway, we won't go
So
on.
are we planning on getting out this Sunday?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Hopefully. Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully. man.
I'll clean all the bird innards off of the boat because that's where they were hung and rested. The boat currently is still covered in dry blood, but we'll give that a rinse out.
Nice one. Well, lads,
forward to
until the next one.
Awesome. Thanks for listening. See you next
Catch
week.
you later. Bye.
Wanna hear you go?